Nå ser du av det jeg ser.
So what I have here is the latest addition to Insta360 Go series. This is the Go Ultra, and I've been testing this for about 2 months now to help you decide whether or not this is a camera for you. I also want to say that this video is sponsored by Insta360, so this is more of a showcase video, and I will have my initial review coming tomorrow or the day after with a comparison as well between all of the cameras. So let's start with the camera itself, the action pod, and the overall design here, which is similar, but it has changed a bit. A question you might ask is whether the accessories you have from the Go 3 or the Go 3S will work with the Ultra here, like the ND filter that I have on the camera right now, and also mounts, and the answer is no. But there will be ND filters and other accessories sold separately for the Go Ultra. Now, looking at the Ultra and the Go 3S here, they both share some similarities. So they both have an action pod which works as a power bank to charge the camera unit itself, and the action pod can be used as a wireless remote up to 10 meters to control the camera, like stop and starting recording, changing settings, and switch between the different shooting modes, even when the camera unit is placed at a distance. The range of this is approximately 10 meters, give or take, but if you should lose connection, the camera will still continue recording, and as soon as you get close enough, the camera or the action pod would automatically connect to each other, and you will be able to see the live preview again. Now, if we take both units out of the action pod, we have two different designs. The Go 3S is smaller, but a bit higher, so it sticks out a bit more when using it on a pendant, for example. However, the Ultra has an overall larger form factor, and it has a square design. And the Ultra does also come with a magnetic backplate, so in case you forgot or didn't want to carry a tripod or a selfie stick, you can use any object which has a metallic surface and use that as your tripod, which is quite handy. Now, over to something more interesting. The Ultra comes with a micro SD card slot, so no longer the built-in storage, which was quite annoying with the Go 3S, if I'm being completely honest, because it meant that I had to drop the files quite often. So usually when I go on a trip or a hike or traveling, I have to dump the files every single time with the Go 3S because it only has the internal storage, and even 128GB, which is the largest one and the one I have, fills up quite fast, especially when I make these longer comparison videos. But thankfully Insta360 made it a little bit easier with the adapter that transfers to a micro SD card, but the problem is that I still have to wait. So with the Go Ultra, it's just like a regular action camera or a 360 camera. When the SD card is full, I can just swap it out with something else or just use a bigger SD card to begin with. The one I use in this one is a 512GB SD card, and it works perfectly fine. I haven't had the need to change out the SD card yet, and I'm really grateful that I don't have to dump the files as often as I had to do with the Go 3S. And I would say if you've been using the Go series and the Go cameras over the years now, this is the biggest and I would say the main reason to consider to upgrade to the Ultra or to get this over the Go 3S if you're looking to get your first smaller action camera. Now, the Ultra shares some of the same specs and features as we see in the X5 and the Ace Pro 2. So for specs, we have the same sensor size of 1/1.28 inch on the Ultra as we see on the X5 versus the 1/1.3 inch on the Ace Pro 2 and the 1/2.3 inch on the Go 3S. So basically this means that we have a much larger sensor on the Go Ultra compared to the Go 3S. So pure video or low light mode is now available on the Ultra. Have a look at this. As of resolution and other specs, the Ultra comes with an ambient light sensor, 4K videos up to 60 FPS and 4K active HDR up to 30 FPS. Also 2.7K up to 120 FPS for slow motion and 1080p up to 240 FPS for super slow motion. And when it comes to field of view, we also have an ultra wide field of view of 156 degrees in action view now, which allowed me to get the same wide shots on my motorcycle as I get with all other cameras that I have, just in a smaller and more lightweight camera which only weighs 53 grams. And as for features, we have mostly the same features we find on the Ace Pro 2 and the X5. So normal video, pure video for low light, we have free frame video where you can decide what aspect you want later by using the studio or mobile app. We have time shift, time lapse, loop recording, slow motion, star lapse, burst photos, interval photos, and lastly normal photos up to 50 megapixels and the option to use clarity zoom where the camera punches in 2 times either by double tapping on the screen or tapping on this button. And for photos, here's a few sample photos I captured at 50 megapixels with the Go Ultra. Now, when it comes to battery life, charge time, overheating, and so on, these are one of the most asked questions that also keeps on coming back when we talk about the Go series. The Ultra combined with the Action Pod has a fast charge from 0 to 80% in just 18 minutes, which is pretty nice, and it only takes 12 minutes for the camera unit itself to reach 80%. So by the time you finish your coffee, the camera will be ready to roll. So I'm glad to see that Insta360 is pushing this fast charging as well, because it's something that we all need, and it's something that makes it a little bit easier to capture videos, or more convenient I would say, because you don't have to sit and wait for the camera to charge up to 80% or to full battery like we have to do with the GoPro, which still takes about 2 hours to reach a full 100%. As a battery life, the Ultra has a stated 70 minutes of record time and 200 minutes when it's placed inside the Action Pod here. When it comes to overheating, I didn't really think much of it this time and just wanted to use it in a normal way to see if I experienced any issues. So the longest record I did was a continuous 40 minutes record midsummer with 33 degrees Celsius, and I didn't find any issues to report. However, this will vary depending on the conditions and where you place the camera. I've seen people complaining about the Go 3S overheating, the same with the Action 5 Pro and the Ace Pro 2, but I've never had any issues with these cameras, and I actually think the only camera I've had issues with when it comes to overheating when I've been on a vacation is the GoPro cameras, every single GoPro camera, and the Action 2 from DJI. So just because the camera overheats for 1 or 2 people, it doesn't mean that the camera will overheat when you use it. Now, doing a quick audio test here with the Go Ultra. It's placed inside the Action Pod, but this has some improved internal microphones coming from the Go 3S. So the Go 3S is not going to sound as clear and crisp as the Go Ultra, but that's what happens with technology. We get better stuff every single year. So I'm now using 4K 30 FPS, active HDR is on. What do you think of the colors and quality of this? We have 4K up to 60 FPS though, but that means you won't be able to use active HDR. So let me know what you think of the audio and also the image quality. As of this video and the release of the Go Ultra, the mic Air from Insta360 will also be compatible, which I'm really excited to test out. I mean, this is the smallest 4K setup I've ever used, but the question is, who is this actually for, and should you buy it? So I would say if you're into vlogging, motovlogging, surfing, skiing, mountain biking, or any sort of sport or activity where you want a small lightweight camera but also want the daytime image quality, I think this would be the better buy over the Go 3S because it has a better sensor, it has a 5nm AI chip versus the 14nm AI chip on the Go 3S, so there's a huge difference there actually in the processing power between these two. And also the Ultra has a better heat dissipation and a bigger battery, and of course not to mention the beloved SD card slot, which is a huge upgrade and probably the biggest reason to get this over the Go 3S. It's also important to know that because the Ultra has a square design, it's not going to sit comfortable as a head cam, for example. And if you're all about subtlety, this is definitely going to draw some looks when you have it sitting on your cap. But again, two similar cameras, but still different. So the Go 3S is more of that raw POV camera, and the Ultra is a mixture of the Ace Pro 2 and the Go 3S. So the versatility of the Go 3S and some of the quality from the Ace Pro 2 or the Ace Pro. One of the things I don't like about the Go series is not the camera itself. I think they all have a place for the right user, but one of the issues is the pendant and how this is used. I still think this is angled completely wrong and it sits either too straight or, well, can it be too straight? It sits too straight or either too much upwards. I would love to see this fixed by having a complete redesign where it points at least 5 to 10 degrees downwards, or that we have the option to tilt it as we want without having a bulky setup, which I've had with the Go 3S and the head clip when I use this to mount it on my pendant to have complete freedom. I also think 2025, I mean, we should have 4K up to 120 FPS by now. The Action 2, which was released a long time ago now, this thing has 4K 120. Even though it overheats after 4 or 5 minutes in the sun, I still have the option to capture those 4 or 5 minutes, right? So even if it overheats, I would still prefer to have the option and get the warning saying that the camera will overheat. This way the user has been informed that this might happen or will happen, and there's going to be less complaints about it. Just my thoughts though, but 60 FPS is still good. I just think we're in a time now where 4K 120 should be a bare minimum if you ask me. Now for me and my personal use after using this for 2 months now, I can see the Ultra completely replacing my Go 3S, mainly due to the 4K active HDR, 4K 60 FPS and the option to use a micro SD card so I don't have to dump the files after each trip, which is pretty annoying. So for me, the Ultra is a great improvement and a huge upgrade for what I do and my needs. Let me know your thoughts down below. Will this be on your list for future cameras to get or not? Links to everything will be down there as well in the description if you want to dive into all the nits and bits about this camera and some of the other cameras. And also don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that bell so you don't miss my in-depth comparison between this and every other camera that I have. So that's a wrap for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.